this one. Kind of want to pace for this one a little bit. This is one of those later at night videos where I was just like pacing back and forth to do this, but so I'm going to show you one of the reasons why I think the plag, and yes, I'm going to call it the plag, is a relatively bad killer. Now, she's not a bad killer along the lines of, say, a Freddy or a Pig, where they're just not good. She's more along the lines of a Legion, because of how broken she is. Now, she's broken from Legion for a different reason. But I want to start with my synopsis leading up to this, as to how to counter certain killers. Because there was actually, me being the facetious asshole that I am, there's pretty easy ways to counter each killer. So, we'll start. We'll start with the Trapper. It's very simple. Look down. He can't hang traps on pallets. He can't hang traps off of generators. They're on the ground. Look down. Oh! That's not helping you. Oh, dude, why are you walking around like Terminstein? Just fucking look down. There's a trap right there. So you know that you can go around it. Or you can just be a dumbass and just step in it. What about the Wraith? The Wraith has a power that you can't really avoid. That's true. But what he does is he's a sneaky one. He's gonna get ya! And then he goes invisible and you can't see him, and then haha, he's there. But the problem with the Wraith is all you have to do is turn your camera behind. You do know what the right analog stick does. You do know what that... See that? Ooh, the right circle of death! Yeah, you have a right analog stick. You should know what it does. You just look behind you. Just look behind you. Just turn around. Turn around. It's not that hard. Hillbilly. Well, there's no really easy way to avoid the hillbilly. Actually, there is. So you know the hillbilly's gonna use a chainsaw. No, let me see. He's gonna fucking run after you. I mean, there's a real simple solution to that. Just when he's coming after you and he's bearing down, you just like turn slightly to the left. Actually, no, I forget. He's a hillbilly, so they watch NASCAR. Those fuckers watch NASCAR. So you know what? So you gotta turn slightly to the right. He will have no idea. Basically, hillbilly is one of those harder ones to avoid because you kind of gotta stay away from him. And there are certain killers that you really just can't avoid. You gotta stay away from. What about the nurse? Are you kidding me? The nurse is like one of the easiest killers to juke. If you see her winding up her blink, and she's gonna like come after you, you get that power. She's like, "I'll chase you down." Yeah. There's a real simple solution to that. Just start running at her. If you actually start, I made my dog laugh. I can't believe it. If you start running at her as she's about to blink, she's gonna blink right through you. The Hag. Well, again, I am a facetious asshole, and this video is for my own enjoyment. Crouch walk everywhere. Urban evasion is good. Just walk like you're trying to take a shit, and you're trying to hold it in, and apparently your legs don't work or something. So, that's the Hag. What about the Doctor? How do you avoid the Doctor? The Doctor is one of those killers that's kind of hard to avoid because of the fact that he's able to find you. He's all about finding you. So how do you counter the Doctor? Well, the first thing is to realize that the Doctor has no power whatsoever when it comes to chases. All the Doctor does is slow you down. The Doctor's whole gimmick is about slowing you down by making you mess up skill checks. And by making you have to do a certain type of skill check to get out of skill checks. So how do you avoid this? Don't fuck up. What about Mike? Mike is another one of those harder killers. When he finds you is when he does his most damage. So one could make the argument that just staying away from him is the best way to counter him. And in actuality, that is actually probably one of the best ways. Mike can only do damage to you as long as he sees you. And you could say that for every killer, but you can pretty much feel the effects of certain killers. He is not one of those killers. Staying away from him is literally the best way to counter. So what about the Huntress? Again, I'm an asshole. Don't run in a straight line. You put some zigs and some zags in there. Come on, conga line. Like, a group of survivors just running in a straight line, like having a fucking track meet against each other. I'm playing Huntress, I'm just gonna be like... You know what? Now I'm gonna do backwards now. That's literally what I do as Huntress, when they run in a straight line. You can't run in a straight line. As soon as you start hearing... No, I actually did that lullaby pretty good, damn. Just start zigzag, come on. Leatherface. Okay, this is the easiest thing in the world to do. Don't group up. Leatherface is an AoE version of Hillbilly. So where Hillbilly is like a nice straight, he's like a straight karate chop, right? Leatherface is your roundhouse kick. He's just gonna frickin' mow down anybody in front of him. So, an easy solution to avoiding him is to not group up in an arc like that. He's the killer you want to go in a conga line for. What about the Nightmare? There's no real way to avoid Freddy. When he finds you, he's gonna pull you into the dream world. He's the opposite of the Doctor, okay? Whereas the Doctor is gonna find you easily, and you don't want to fuck up. Freddy is the guy that's gonna find you easily, and you do want to fuck up. Because that's the only way you're gonna get out. And he can't touch you unless you do that. Unless you fail a skill check and get out of the dream world, he can't touch you. What's a pig? Pig is like Mike. And this is the only good comparison to Mike I can make between the pig and her. Is that the pig is very good at finding survivors and sneaking up on them like the Wraith. So again, that right analog sticky thing that we talked about, yeah. That's what you use. That way there she can't get you when she's crouched. She's very good at tunneling, and she's very good at camping. Like the Wraith. But see, unlike the Wraith, she has the added benefit of being able to stall you from getting out of the exit gates because of her little bear trapping thing. In that situation, everybody just teabags around the hatch until one person gives up. I did say I was going to be a dick this video. The clown. So how do we counter the clown? Very simple. The big, giant circles of poison gas. Don't go in them. Now, obviously, that's easier said than done. What if you're being chased, crew? Oh my god, being chased. He's throwing bottles at me. Well, the simple solution is to then just start chucking Twinkies behind you because he's fat. He's gonna be like James Woods. Oh, he's piece of candy. Oh, piece of candy. Ooh, I mean, him and the Trapper would be just like... The Trapper is the killer to catch the clown. Quite literally. Like, I think Chris Hansen is actually the Trapper. Lay down a bear trap, put a piece of candy. Lay down a bear trap, put a piece of candy. Lay down a bear trap, put a piece of candy. Fucking clown walks in. Ooh, piece of candy. Ow! Ooh, piece of candy. Ow! Ooh, piece of candy. Ow! I know that wasn't needed, but that was funny as hell. The Spirit. So how do you counter the Spirit? Run. That's about all I can tell you. I mean, that's pretty much all I can tell you. Her power is basically running. Her power is invisible running. That's the best synopsis I can give you. It's just, you hear whooshing, and all of a sudden she goes, ha! She's like the world's worst wedding crasher. What about the Legion? How do we counter the Legion? Yeah, I can't help you on that one. You can't really... The Legion is one of those killers that you can kinda, sorta, maybe counter. It's actually pretty easy to get around, as long as there's a sacrifice. As long as one person is willing to die. He's pretty easy to counter. Now, this brings us to the plague. The plag. And I'm gonna call her the plag because I don't respect her. Because she's broken. Mike is balanced. I had a game of Mike Myers today, and I quite easily killed 2 survivors. I fucking destroyed them, but the other 2 got out. My efforts in the early beginning stages of the game when I was playing Mike was focused on eliminating 2 survivors. I wanted to get 2 survivors. I was focused on leveling up Evil Within and killing the survivors that I had Evil Within on. And I succeeded on that, but the other 2 survivors were able to gen rush me, and I wasn't able to capitalize on that because I didn't have the requisite perks. Now, The plag, on the other hand, has the requisite perks. If you don't know what the word requisite means, really, guys, get a dictionary. I am a facetious asshole. I'm a cunt. I have a dictionary, I have a thesaurus, and I have a Google machine. That's like... that's a douchebag, an English language douchebag's best tool set. It's like a little bag with, you know, knives and duct. It's like a Batman belt buckle of terror. So, I mean, she has Dark Devotion, which just makes it harder for you to figure out where the fuck she is. She has Corrupt Intervention, which allows her to slow the game down at the beginning of the game. And she has Infectious Fright, which is just garbage. But if you look at her power is not very good. I'm sorry, did I say not very good? I said that wrong. It's fucking broken. For one thing, she's able to apply Sloppy Butcher on this power. Yeah. For a second thing, and probably the most important thing about this, is that this is how the plag plays. Blip, 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 bam. So this pukes on you until you become broken, where she can one-shot you, and then she hits you. About it. And if you get rid of the infection that causes you to be broken, well then guess what? Now she gets the ability to down you at range like the Huntress. And, on top of all that, if you are infected, then, and you get put on a hook, the person that pulls you off the hook gets infected as well. If you're infected, and you're working on a generator, well guess what? The person working on the generator with you gets infected. If you're infected and a survivor's healing you, well guess what? Then they get infected too. And there's really no reason to do that. And on top of all that, it's incredibly hard for the plague to get away from the plague in a chase, because you need people on generators to distract. You know, this is not a case of the Legion. The Legion can be distracted by having survivors get nearby, because the Legion's gonna say, "Ooh, I can hit you, and I can hit you, and I can hit you. Yeah, I can hit all these people. Great." And so everyone is distracted, but you still have like 1 or 2 people working on gens, while you have 1 or 2 people kind of fucking around with it. That doesn't happen with the plague. She has no incentive to go after anybody else. Her kit is literally tunnel the survivor that she puked on. Plain and simple. Just tunnel the survivor she puked on. She has no reason to camp. It doesn't matter if they get off the hook, she's gonna fucking puke on them again in a few seconds. She just pukes straight up into the air and arc it. I was playing around and kill your friends with this today. Over long ranges, it's hard to do, but boy is she fast. She's a lot faster than her character bio would say. She has 4.6 base max movement speed. So let's look at the Trapper. 4.6, 4.6, 4.6. You got Nurse is the nerfed one. She's the slow one. 4.6. Hag is slightly slower. 4.4, but she is smaller. 4.6, 4.6. Huntress, 4.4. Slightly slower, but again, range character. 4.6, 4.6, 4.6. 4.4, but again, smaller terror radius. 4.4. He has slower movement speed. Now, the reason he has slower movement speed is because of the fact that, well, his power lets him go faster. A faster fuck boy! But Plague is just fast. Like, I can tell you right now, I could literally start up a match if I wanted to right now, and I would probably get a 3 of the 4 survivors. First game. I haven't played her yet. I'm really waiting for this effect to die down. I'm actually kind of disappointed with how I leveled up my killers so far. Like, I have all my killers at 5 except for her. I have a couple of the killers at 10. I was working on Nurse, but I decided to start working on Hag, so I could get Hag perks teachable in other characters. And like, I don't really need other perks than that, but Yeah, I mean, it's just not fun to go up against her because she has one style of play. Puke, 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 infected, hit. So, a couple of changes that I think should be made to her. Pretty much the one thing that I would say... Ew. No, I don't want that. That's better. But, pretty much the one thing that I don't want is for them to buff her. She needs a nerf, and she needs a hard nerf. First off, if you're on a hook, I think the infection should get removed. I think that's the first thing. I think when you are hooked, the infection is removed. The broken status effect goes away, because that makes it even harder as a survivor. Because you just simply can't, make saves. That's the thing I was discovering. Unless I started running a lot of We're Gonna Live Forever, as an incentive to actually do that. I don't really have that incentive. Without We're Gonna Live Forever, I have no incentive to go for hooks. That's pretty much the big change I think needs to be made. But, thank you guys for watching. See you later.